Hello, and welcome to this bonus episode of Mental Oasis, released especially for Podcast Wellness Week. I'm your host, Christine Forte, and I'm so excited to be a part of this event where we get a chance to really spend some time to focus on our wellness and on our self-care. As always, it is my hope that this podcast can serve as a moment of pause during your day, a time to take some deep breaths, to reflect, rest, and then return to your routines of life recharged and restored. In celebration of Podcast Wellness Week, I thought that in today's meditation, we might spend some time on a practice that has been demonstrated over and over again to increase our overall well-being, both physically and mentally. And that is the practice of gratitude. I know that in challenging times, gratitude may often be the last thing on our minds. It can also be the case that encouragement towards gratitude practices is something that perhaps we feel we've overheard. It is something that's tossed around quite a lot in popular media. And so I would like to clarify before we begin today's meditation together that we cannot expect that by meditating with gratitude, we will immediately cancel out any and all negative perceptions or experiences of negative emotion. This is not the intention of gratitude practice. Rather, the idea is that by cultivating this practice, we can engage with the parts of ourselves and of our lives that are going well. We can help attention to this to blossom and grow within us so that we increase the attention that's given to the positive parts rather than having those difficult or challenging parts consume the entire landscape. This focus on appreciation for what's going well or for what we do have as opposed to what we don't has been shown to reduce the body's experience of stress, even going so far as to improve our cardiovascular health, our ability to sleep well, so it has actual physical impacts on our bodies. The teacher Thich Nhat Hanh has often described this practice as smiling towards ourselves. He goes into detail of smiling to our hearts, smiling to our digestive systems. I've even heard him suggest specifically smiling to the liver, smiling to the arms, legs, everything inside ourselves. And so I thought that specifically in today's practice, we might approach it this way, as there can be so much variety in what's going on outside of us, and certainly there's variety inside our bodies as well, but that we might spend some time together to smile to the internal, to smile to ourselves and to all the parts of our bodies. I invite you to join me now in the meditation portion of our episode. Beginning, as always, by turning the attention inward. And this might be signified by closing the eyes, if it feels comfortable to do so. Or it could simply be with beginning to take some deep breaths. Starting to really invert the attention from the world around you and instead onto your internal self, your internal state. Starting to notice the deep breaths, the sensation as they travel, perhaps down the throat and into the lungs. Allowing your attention to fully focus there. And for the mind to take a moment to slow down and join us here. Be in this community of gratitude. Just even for these few minutes. And as you're doing that, if it feels natural to do so or feels accessible, I would invite you to send a smile to your internal self, internal state. Specifically beginning by noticing the heart center. As you breathe in, becoming aware of the heart. And as you breathe out, smiling to the heart. The heart is a part of us that works so hard to continually refresh and rejuvenate the rest of our bodies. Even when the mind is sleeping, the heart is still hard at work. So with the next deep breath, again acknowledging the heart, and then exhaling, smiling to the heart. Do that for a few breaths now. Perhaps on the inhale, even saying to the heart, I see you. And on the exhale, smiling to the heart. Sending a sense of gratitude there for all of the hard work that it does. And you might notice next with the breath, perhaps acknowledging the lungs. With the inhale, saying to the lungs, I see you, I acknowledge you. And with the exhale, smile to the lungs. These are another part of the body that even when the mind and other movements are at rest or sleeping, the lungs are still hard at work to keep the whole rest of the body going. So on the inhale, saying to the lungs, I see you. And on the exhale, smiling to the lungs. And with these two key elements, pumping fresh oxygen, blood, life throughout the rest of the body, this might lead us next to smile, to acknowledge the whole cardiovascular system, all of the veins and arteries that keep our limbs moving and energetic. And so taking a moment to acknowledge all of those pathways, the life force pumping through you, to say to them, I see you. On the inhale, acknowledging, and on the exhale, smiling to all these pathways in the body. Taking a few deep breaths to do that now, thoroughly and completely. And perhaps you might notice now that as the life force travels through the body, that some of the most critical parts of it travel upwards to the brain to power the mind, all of your perception and experiences. So taking a moment to acknowledge the brain and the mind within it, and to say, I see you. And then smile to the brain. Noticing, perhaps next, some of the inputs to the brain. How the eyes, which for now may be closed, but normally give us so much information about the world. Eyes that allow us to see the faces of our loved ones, of our friends, of the people around us. Even eyes that allow us to greet strangers, that allow us to see the colors and the variety of the world around us. Acknowledging the eyes, all of the beauty that they provide to us, all of the ability to experience beauty. Acknowledging the eyes on the inhale, and on the exhale, smiling to the eyes for all that they do. Noticing another input, the ears. The ears are what allow us to engage in this time together, to be connected in our meditation, to hear the voices of those around us, the sounds of animals, of the natural world, to experience music, even to experience silence. Smiling now to the ears. On the inhale, acknowledging, and on the exhale, smiling to the ears. Another input that we might notice now is the hands and the skin. These also send a lot of information to the brain about our world, about our experiences. It's such a tremendous ability that we have, actually, to be able to perceive with any corner, any tiny centimeter of our skin. has the ability to touch and to know something about the world around it. Whether it's the texture of clothes, or the temperature of the air, or the feeling of hugging another person. This pressure on the skin allows us to experience even a range of emotions, of experiencing affection, enjoyment, but also discomfort or displeasure, which can also be important information about our world. So on the next inhale, acknowledging the skin for all of the information it gives, and also the way that it protects the rest of our body. And on the exhale, smiling to the skin. We have a tendency to think about the skin in terms of its appearance, but the skin is so much more than this. There is so much that we can smile to the skin for. So taking a moment to do that now. On the inhale, acknowledging, and on the exhale, smiling to the skin. We might then bring our awareness to the mouth. And how the mouth allows us to express ourselves, but also gives us information about the world through taste. We can use the mouth for verbal expression, or even for nonverbal, through the smile itself, to show care or happiness for those around us. So taking a moment to turn your awareness to the mouth. And then, though it might sound funny, and it's okay for this to be funny, to smile to the mouth itself. On the inhale, acknowledging the mouth and all of its wonder. And on the exhale, smile to the mouth, sending it a thank you for being as incredible as it is. Inhaling deeply and completely as you focus fully on this now. And as you have probably observed so far in this practice, there's such an infinite number of parts of the body that we can acknowledge and smile to, for all that they do for us, all that they provide in our lives, all of the ways that they protect us and keep us whole and allow us to carry out our lives as we would like. And so you can take a few more moments now, if you like, to do a few more inhales of acknowledging different parts of the body, and exhale of smiling to them, sending a thank you, a sense of appreciation. Inhaling slowly and deeply, and exhaling with a smile. Take all the time you need with this practice, and it's one that I would encourage returning to, perhaps even at intervals throughout the day, that it only takes a few moments to just take a deep breath, acknowledge, and on the exhale, smile to a part of yourself or to all of the parts of yourself. Thank you so much for joining me in this meditation today. As always, I'm so grateful to get to share with this community and that we can be a part of each other's lives in meditation and reflection. I'm Christine Forte, and you can find more information or how to contact me in the show notes. If something from this episode resonated with you, I would invite you to please do write to me about it. I'm always happy to share more deeply on our journey together. And I would also invite you to share the episode with anyone you think might benefit from it. And I look forward to sharing with you again next week in our regularly scheduled episode.